So, ladies and gents, let's another sort of Marvel-ish topic anyway. Well, it is Marvel. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is tracking to $130 million US opening. Now, this is as part of Deadline's breaking news. Box office projections aren't always the be-all and end-all, right? You know, they often get beat. They often get, underserved. There's many, many different ways that this can go. But this is interesting nonetheless, because normally mainstream media likes to put a spin on all of this stuff, right? So Disney Marvel Studios Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 landed on tracking today before its summer season launch date of Friday, May 5th, and it's looking like a $130 million domestic start. That is lower than the 146.5 stateside opening of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which also kicked off summer, and distribution sources specify that the campaign for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 hasn't really fired up to its full potential yet. Well, you fucking don't have long to do it.
You got 2 weeks. Wake up.
You don't have long to do it at all. What are you doing? Hence, there's nothing to worry about. All right.
You want to know why I don't think we've seen a campaign yet? Is because I don't think they have the money for it.
No.
I don't think they want to spend any more money on this than they already have.
Now, they do try to spin this, though, guys. The highest domestic opening for a Marvel Studios movie post-pandemic belongs to Spider-Man No Way Home, and after that, it's Doctor Strange. So that's, Doctor Strange did 187.4. So they're trying to sort of spin it that it's not going to be as.
They should have also pointed out that Doctor Strange was the first movie out after No Way Home as well.
Yeah,
and that character also appeared in Spider-Man No Way Home as well.
Yeah, and look at the reception Doctor Strange 2 got.
A very good one.
A lot of people went out there to go see it because it's like, okay, this is one of the OG Avenger cast members here,
and they got bait and switched.
And then we got Multiverse of Madness. What all people are going to show? There was a lot of hype around it with the Multiverse of Madness and what all other characters and cameos from other movies were going to be a part of it. And then you go look at the audience scores on it, and it wasn't. It wasn't top tier.
But it's another embarrassment for Marvel and Disney in general, because you literally just had Super Mario opening to $204.6 million domestic. Just domestic.
Kids film. A 4-quadrant family film. Nobody trusts Disney anymore. This thing is running 30% behind sales for Mom.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's not.
Excuse me, not Mom. Ant-Man, Quantumania. It's running 30% behind that.
Well, I mean, it's still going to be about $200 million movie easily. Easily. Give them a. Let's be fair. I don't know. Maybe $100 million on marketing. $300 million.
This is the safest bet that Disney has this year. And I think the only
reason
isn't
even doing very well. Christ, that's saying something, right?
And the only reason I think this is sitting where it's at, where they're not too confident with it has everything to do with how basically Bob Iger got dick slapped, for lack of a better term, at the earnings call, and Victoria Alonso getting fired. Add in the Jonathan Majors stuff. Like, there has been nothing but bad news for Marvel for the past few weeks. And then look at how that trailer landed without any noise whatsoever. Nobody was really talking about it. Like, we were, but it wasn't trending. You weren't hearing any hype or anything like you would normally for a trailer. I haven't even looked at the numbers to see how it's playing there, but even on the ratio, like thumb-wise, it wasn't doing very well for a Marvel film. They are in a downward spiral, and everybody's starting to point it out. Like, we're not the only ones anymore. That's the thing. And it's been, the media's been hedging a little bit when it comes to Marvel. They're no longer the sure thing they used to be, I think. And I feel bad because Guardians is the only one of the movies I'm looking forward to out of the MCU, and there was a time when I said, this is a $1 billion film, no problem. Now I'm not so sure. And I mean, we've been saying that for the past few weeks, but I mean, I'm really getting to that point where I'm like,
I don't think it's a $1 billion film. So it's interesting, right? Is that the first trailer they released, looking at Marvel Entertainment YouTube channel, the first trailer, which was released 4 months ago, 28 million views, right? So that's that first one where people are like, I'm fear of missing out, FOMO. I'm going to have a look at this. Let's see whether this is any good or not, right? Yeah. So it makes sense that the numbers of that trailer will be quite high. But the next trailer that released 2 months ago, so what, we're 2 months apart. Guess the views. Just so from 28, guess the views.
12.
Yeah, 13.
Oh, wow.
So that's saying something, right? Like the interest is staggered off a cliff. Well, absolutely fallen off a cliff.
It didn't help that the widespread leaks came out the way that they did. You know. And again, I feel like Marvel's killed their own brand, but you're 100% right. That is not the right direction to go in interest. You know what? I'd be interested.
Shouldn't peter off by half.
No.
Over half. Like that's way wrong. Way wrong. It should still, be. I would expect still 20 million at least. People are still interested. They want to see the new trailer. Drop by 8 million. I could see that. That makes sense.
Tom, what do you think the film's going to make at the end of the day?
Frankly, I think it's going to settle somewhere in the $700 to $800 million range now.
I was about to say $800 million.
I think it might do a little bit better than that. I think it's going to do closer to what Doctor Strange did than Wakanda, or well, actually Wakanda did closer to that. But what's the other one I'm thinking of? The one that was in between those two, the real dumper, Thor Love and Thunder, which Thunder. That, I mean, clearly was a disappointment to them by far. I think it's going to perform a little bit better than that, but it's going to be hard pressed to do better than Doctor Strange.
I don't think it's going to do Strange money at all. I think it might make 750. If I'm wrong, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love for this film to be.
I have a hard time thinking it won't do at least 8 unless the movie is really bad. Like if we're completely off on this one and James Gunn really screwed the pooch, which I just don't see happening, because I know some people didn't care for the second one as much, but like to me, the first two films are some of the best of the Marvel films, and they stand alone, right? Like you don't need everything else around them to really watch and enjoy them. And that's the only thing going against this third film, is it has all the baggage from Endgame and all the other stuff going into it, Infinity War and all that stuff. So yeah,
could there be audience hesitancy because they've been burned so many times by the recent Marvel films?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Quantumania's come out in between those two trailer releases, right? Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
So, when did Quantumania come out?
February, I think it was.
Yeah, it was god awful.
So that might work out timing wise. For the
what was it? The third trailer.
I haven't seen the third trailer, so I can't see the upload date. February 12th. So when did Ant-Man and the Wasp come out?
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was early February, if I remember right. Let me look it up. But
look it up if you can.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
February 17th.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So not between them. That one came out before Quantumania. So maybe it just shows interest in Marvel is starting to go down.
Yeah.
Was there any Marvel?
That's what I was saying. Not right now that are live. I think they're in between now.
If this thing opens, okay, so if it opens like Quantumania,
I just read a thing the other day that said we're in the middle of the biggest gap ever for Marvel stuff or something like that between when we get Guardians of the Galaxy to the Marvels or something like that. Basically, I can't remember exactly how they put it, but like it'll be the longest gap we've ever had where there wasn't something Marvel going on.
If it opens the same as Quantumania, no wonder they're saying 130. That's like right in line with Quantumania. That's why they're saying 130 right now.
That makes sense.
Holy cow.
It's not good. Not good at all. I mean, look, I reckon 800 million. I don't think this is not $1 billion movie. It has to have very good word of mouth. Opening weekend has to be incredibly it could do the 130 million opening weekend, but the word of mouth has to be insane. The talk all around the internet has to be about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but that's
the only way that this will do well.
People could get turned off because of the spoilers that were out there being talked about. coming to pass. I told Tom my original reasoning for worrying about this film was because there are going to be some characters that won't be around anymore. So I'm just, that's going to hurt this film.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Look, this is all speculation on our parts, but I'm pretty good at spotting trends. This is not the trend you want to be in right now. And if we end up with Kang in this,
true. Very, very true. Very, very, very true.
I don't know.
Right. So, let's do it. So, Culture. Yeah. I give $800 million. That's my prediction. Culture. What's your prediction?
Look, it's gonna. I've said for a long time now. I think it makes 750. It might make 800 million, but I'm gonna say that if I'm gonna be held to a specific number, 750. Okay. And
we'll revisit this opening weekend as well, because I think that'll be important.
It'll be very telling. It'll be very telling.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see if our votes change. Tom, what's your bet on total?
I'm gonna say it's gonna do,
because it can change. Remember?
Yeah. I'm gonna say it's gonna do better than Ant-Man.
That would be hard.
that's not difficult.
No, but again,
What did Ant-Man end up with at the end?
490 odd or something like that.
Yeah, I thought you meant just the opening weekend is what you were asking.
No.
We already said our total amount. Well, we already said that, 700 to 800 million. So,
okay. I'm trying to tie you down to an actual figure.
Yeah, about, like I said, 800 I'll go with.
Oh, wow, okay.
All right. Nick, what's yours?
I'm at overall $1 trillion. No, seriously. So I'm thinking around the 650 million range. Like, okay. I don't think it's going to go above that, because all the people I talk to in my personal life, friends, family, nobody cares about what's happening in Marvel right now. Nobody's talking about the movie. I think it'll do decent, but I think it'll struggle. I think opening weekend will be right below to maybe just a little above the 100 million mark, and I'll be surprised if it gets over 650.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I think interest for all Marvel stuff's just in the toilet right now.
Well, okay.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But you're right, because I think there's audience hesitancy, and I think that Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania was proof of that. $466 million. That film lost $100 million at least.
Yeah.
Well. So those are our predictions. We'll revisit this opening weekend. I think that's. I like doing this. It's always interesting. Now, this is just based on what we do and what we sort of talk about on our ears to the ground. Opening weekend can change it drastically, so we shall have a look.